Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the NTT Indycar Open Series here on iRacing. We're at the wonderful Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I am Austin. I am joined by the wonderful, as always, Marco Barbanera, and we're about to go racing. I'm very excited.
Oh man, I'm excited as you are. Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, north of the border for what is certainly one of the best racetracks in the world. Also a part of personal history, because this is where I had my very first league race on a simulator. It was back in 2002, if you can imagine that. It was Grand Prix Legends, the Italian Endurance Grand Prix Legends Championship. Racing with a keyboard and getting disconnected after 3 laps. It was the days of 56k connections. Not very reliable. Today, many years in the future, and certainly with much more powerful cars. But the track, Austin, hasn't changed a lot back from the 60s.
Yeah, the tracks pretty much stay the same. I can't say much about the tracks next door to it. The tracks next door has gone under a few different configurations. They've added a karting track. The track next door used to be much bigger and much smaller. And there also used to be a 3/4 of a mile oval next door to this track, if you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That is something to note. We have a packed 22-person lobby here today, as we are just a few moments away in qualifying. Currently, Henry Bennett sitting up on pole, following up by Adam Blocker. The same first row as we had in Milwaukee Mile. So that's always something to go looking for.
Here comes Mark Asher then. Driver without a time. Here he comes, start-finish line for him. Will he put his car towards the front? No, only 6th place. But he will go at it another time. Another driver without a time is Alessandro Dalle for Satellite Racing. Racing with an unpainted car, carbon fiber look for him. Still waiting for the official livery for Satellite Racing, I would imagine. But the unmistakable magenta helmet that goes back to the days of 1050 racing, of course. Here he comes, one of the longest tenure drivers of this series. He will start momentarily in P7. Another driver that's trying to improve himself is here Sherwin van der Sloot, of course. Oh, and he is around. So let's go to Mark Asher then. See if he can get his car in a better position than P6. As you can see, very quick lap times around here. This is a 42 lap race. There will be no cautions. So this is going to be a high intensity, high octane race, Austin.
Yeah, we'll be in and out in about 42 minutes here. Top guys getting around the track in about 59 seconds. You think this would be an oval with a massive oval with the way these guys are putting the car around the corner, but only like 2 to 3 maybe real braking zones in these cars. There's so much downforce that the IndyCar produces that you just had that uphill slowdown, the uphill double turn hairpin, and then that final corner, you just kind of have to tap the brakes, but it's a lot of lifting on this track, so we're going to go wheel-to-wheel racing here at Mosport, and I already said it. I'm excited. I'm pumped. When I saw that this was going to be on the calendar, a little kid inside of me just went, yo, boy. And then, especially what's up next week, but we're going to put that up. We're going to mention that later on in the race.
So we can see the weather right now as we wait for the session to switch over. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, we will have a full pace lap. Before we talk about the racetrack and the important corners, let's go, Austin, through the starting grid, which should be on your screen right now.
Starting up on pole, it's Henry Bennett, followed up by Adam Blocker. Behind them is Thomas Zeiger and hometown boy Brian Carey in 4th place. Shane Burke, Mark Usher, Asantro Teodante, Richard Holtz.
Sorry. I won't interrupt you anymore.
You say his name then.
Alessandro Dalle Donne in P7 for Satellite.
Followed up by Richard Holt, Aaron Rufus, Luka Lejevic, Paul Morgan, Rodrigo Azevedo in P12. Hussein Nymanen in 13th. Sherman Vandersloot in 14th. Followed up by Ty Kaveth, Oscar Hajem, Barry Boas from the great state of Texas, Joseph Schroeder, Scott Malvern, Nick Antonia, Alexander Hammett, and James McLean from OHIO.
Oh yeah, I know that song, and I also know, I can tell you what, Alessandro's last name is tough for even for us Italians, so don't I don't blame you. Many a commentator has fell victim of the Alessandro Dalle Donne last name. But yeah, I remember it right. It's a full pace lap. So Austin, I think we can go and talk about the two trouble spots in the first lap, which I think are going to be the first corner, but more importantly, the long left-hander down the hill, because now in real life on the outside we have a tarmac runoff area, but here in iRacing we still have the grass.
It's grass.
And when you go on the grass, you don't come back on the track anymore.
Yeah, once you get on the grass, it's pretty much like an ice skating rink. You're going off the direction you came in on, so it's very hard to go to recover the car. So 2-3 trouble spots. Turn number 2. Turn 1 is actually going to be fairly easy for these guys because not really a braking zone. Turn 2, that's going to be pretty much hard if you're going side by side. Turn 3, braking zone, very tight right-hander. Then up the hill for turn 5s and 6. That double turned apex up the hill. So we saw a few guys spin out of there in practice and qualifying. I don't know if you're watching practice. That down the straight, definite push to pass opportunities. Lift off for the next corner, and then these two next corners going to have to slightly tip-tap the brakes, and then it's another lap around Mosport. We're riding on board Alessandro Dalle Donne for that satellite racing. I was expecting a test paint on that car, but no, just a plain old carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber, yes. Like, ran out of money, sadly, I've been told. You see Eminem, let's have a chat about this guy. For years he has provided the setups to the community. I think he still does. It's such a regular of the series. And he's also a very regular driver. But the problem is that he seems to almost never finish on the top step of the podium, despite being such a key member of the community. Very much beloved. But we know that, given the right circumstances, he could be a player for the race win. We have two drivers starting from the pits, by the way. Brian Carey and James McClellan. They are both not on the grid, and it's a big surprise because Carey was starting in 4th position, so this will promote up all the drivers behind him.
Yeah, you can, the top 20 is being shown on our timing tower, and, that's just always going to happen. When you have more than 20 drivers on the series. And I believe this is our first more than 20 driver race that we had.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful to have this many cars, and of course, we all know what's coming up next week. If you don't know, we'll tell you at the end of the race. We expect big participation next Friday at this time.
Not only because of what track it's at, but also what's happening that weekend. Once more, we'll let you know right now, but currently it's time to focus on Canada,
our own native land. Pace car is in.
Pace car is in, and here goes Bennett putting the pedal to the metal, and we're going racing here for the NTT Indycar Open Series here on iRacing at Mosport. And it's a great start already for Mark Usher. Up 3 spots. They're going side by side into turn 2.
Oh, Dalle Donne is around. Lot of dirt.
Alessandro Tonone, the satellite racing car, turned around already. I think he has some suspension damage from there. We're going to have to take a look at that when we can. But currently, Bennett leading out everybody. Coming out of the hairpin, we have a little bit of hairpin mishap. There's a car on the wall. That is Luka Lejevic.
Yes, he is, and he's trying to get back on the track, back to the racing action, because Blocker very close to the back of Bennett in this very chaotic first lap. We told about the left-hander there down the hill, also the hairpin. is going to be, most corner is going to be another trouble spot. Very easy to get your braking wrong there, as the first lap is in the books.
Yeah, Henry Bennett getting a massive dominating start, but Adam Blocker closed in on him fast, not letting him run away. Also, don't count out Mark Usher, the #1 ranked car in this session. He's always a force to be reckoned with, as that is Oscar Henge off the track, and he's got a bit of front wing damage.
Let's see what happened at the start.
Alessandro just outside. Oh, it's just tried to that corner just a little bit too fast.
Good thing for him, the car seems to be okay. But you know, that grass there is absolutely unforgiving. As when we go back live, Blocker is in the lead now.
Blocker overtook Bennett, and now Usher's on the back of Bennett. Here comes Bennett. Bennett on Blocker into turn 1, side by side. Bennett's got the inside. That long right-hander Blocker. Nope. Bennett's got the outside line. That was Mark Usher trying to make the move.
Oh, we have big damage for Richard Holt.
Missing an entire rear chassis of the car. Richard Holt around the outside. Is there a little bit of issue right here? Nope, 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 nope. Yep.
There's going to be very tough damage to recover. Oh, that is Thomas Ziegler going wide. Very wide.
He went
and
wide. I don't believe he hit his wheel on anything. It's just too fast going into that corner. Paul Morgan, easy P4.
So mistakes aplenty in the beginning of this race. The top 5, you can see Blocker, Bennett, Usher, Morgan, and Ziegler. Aaron Roofs is in 6th. Then we have Scott Malvern, Rodrigo Azevedo, Sherwin Wandersloot, and Ty Keveth is in P10, as we have more issues between Schroeder and Holt again.
Holt has to be devastated. Turn 2 is so deadly right there, as Oscar once again off track. Hasn't gone in to fix that lead.
So let's see what happened to Oscar there as he was getting closer to the final corner. Dalle Donne trying to make a comeback, and he will be one driver to watch, and he clips the grass there. He still keeps on going. I think he has to stop for Roofs, another mistake. And here we go. Malvern goes past, and here comes Azevedo, who's also lapping there the number 7 of Richard Holt. Austin, we need to catch our breath because this has been some exciting start to the race. And these drivers, look at the difference between the top 3 and the rest of the pack on your track map. They are really on a class of their own so far, Blocker, Bennett, and Usher.
Yeah, they've absolutely blitzed the field so far in these opening laps, as we're already on lap 5 out of 42. And honestly, I want to stay on that fight for the lead because this is intense up there. Adam Blocker pulling away like he did in Milwaukee Mile. But here comes Mark Usher on Henry Bennett. We're going to see push to pass here on this straight. As here comes Usher on Bennett on the outside. Here goes Usher up the inside. Side by side they go.
Oh, Pigna! No lo creo, Austin! Unbelievable. Oh, no!
Carnage here in Canada. Thomas Ziegler managed to get into second place. Don't sit right there in the track to stay in the car, stay there, stay there.
What the hell just happened here?
I think second and third place, fourth and fifth just died.
We need to get a replay of what just happened here, because this is some astonishing development. It seems like every Friday night we have something crazy happen. Remember Las Vegas? But here we go, side by side, Usher and Bennett. Oh, he clipped the curb. Bad luck there. It was a fantastic pass, that one. And then it was not over there. because Paul
Then,
Morgan.
one of the Simtech cars passed him, and I believe he spun on his own. This is Simtech
Morgan.
car. Paul
So
Morgan.
he sees the carnage. He spins, clips the wall, clips the other car there, and yeah. That was Thomas Ziegler. Let's see how his car is feeling, because I think he got a pretty nice whack on the right side of the car.
I think I do see some damage on his right side, but that might have been just in the moment. iRacing may have fixed that for him, giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see any major damage on that car. Maybe some floor damage. Oh, the right side side pod's a bit dinged up. You can see that.
Okay, so now the situation is as follows. The leader of the race is Adam Blocker now. Basically, look at Scott Malvern. He gained 16 positions from the start of the race. Talk about having a nice and steady pace. He's not... I mean, his best lap is a 1 minute 02, so he's not certainly lighting up the scoreboard. But with consistency, you can do great. And Daledon, who spun in the first corner, is back into his starting position of 7th. And now looking
Look at the wing of Kevith right behind him. Ty Kevith's wing is getting some extra downforce up there.
Yeah. I mean, there is the conspiracy theory that was in the old car of the OP damage. I don't know if it's the same with this car, and certainly more often not on the ovals, as Daledon is about to put a move on Sherwin van der Sloot, as Daledon likes...
Turn 2, once again off track, keeping it straight, a little bit of bounce in action, and he keeps it out of the wall. Oh, and the car from is trying to go around the outside. Linjevic is going to be very mad about that. Try for the outside move on the slow Deladonde car as third place is spun. Scott Malcolm has spun.
Man, talk about a jinx on poor Scott. We were talking about how you know, consistent.
And out of incidents he was, and that's all I knew because I didn't say that. Is this classic throttle up? Yep.
So let's
Keeps
see
it out of the wall though.
What transpired back there at the... So Daledon went wide. That grass, I mean, he got lucky twice. I don't know if he will be lucky a third time. How close can you be? Legchevich went for the move, clipped the grass because, you know, there was not a lot of space there, and spun around.
Lejevic is definitely not happy about that. I don't have sound on, but I can expect some words being said over the radio from that. We see Nivanen sitting in 7th place right now, and I'd say he's gotta have a pretty big smile on his face as there's a lockup in the car ahead. Keveth going a little bit wide, and here comes Nivanen up the inside. Opportunistic for P6.
Beautiful move there from the veteran Nieminen from Finland, and he goes on into
P6.
P6. Let's see, because now Malvern... I'm trying to see what happened here, because Daledon passed Malvern here. And that was when Scott made his mistake. But now Malvern is back in front, so Daledon might have made a mistake here in the final corner. He's leaving dangerously, is the Thai driver. Very slow, saves the car for the... So he's third time lucky.
Alessandro is getting a lot of camera time right now, just on his saves alone.
And now back to the rear end of the number 9 car, trying to go for another move. Then Ty Kevet is in front of them both, and with the damage he needs to be very careful. Of course they want to wait until the pit window opens, Austin, so they don't have to do 2 stops. Careful with those curbs, they have already been deadly today.
It's getting dicey through here. It's getting dicey, and here comes Malfred up the inside. Daladone right behind him as they're nose to tail, and they get that position pretty easily as they're up to 7th and 8th as they enter turn 1. Scott Malfred looking back at Alessandro Daladone into troublous turn 2, especially for Alessandro. but he makes it nicely that time. But Alessandro is closing in as they're approaching turn 3 and up into the hairpin. Looking on that race car right now going up into the hairpin. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Who's going to try to play a bit of mind games on the exit? Both of them making it through there very easily. And here comes Alessandro in the draft. Push to pass might be used. Being forced to go around the outside. Preferred line, honestly, because you can keep the throttle in. It cuts the nose off. And Alessandro gets back into P7.
Oh, what happened to Adam Blocker?
That was Holtz.
Wow, that was so close. Hopefully he went by without damage. He need to take a trip to the grass.
We see Holtz already spinning up there. He got the news in his spotter. Then Holtz spinning in the middle of the track. Blocker forced to go off the track. Not going to pick up damage, but he is going to lose some time. But he's currently 23 seconds ahead of Thomas Zeiger. So that is not a problem in Blocker's mind.
But it goes to show how dangerous it can be. You know, not only on your own, but the lap cars as well, as now we see Dardone trying to continue his comeback, going toe-to-toe with Justin Eminem around the outside. He really likes this spot, and I think he will complete the pass before the quote-unquote braking zone here, and up into 6th, and now it will be Shervin van der Sloot, the next one in line.
Dallanone is carrying so much speed on that straight. It looked like everyone was just knowing that he was coming up and just lifting off the throttle as Dallanone flings it onto the inside. Now around the outside turn 2. We've seen how many times this turn has been in the backside, but he nails around the outside move here at Mosport. Alessandro Dallanone right where he should be in P5 and moving up the field.
I mean, this midfield battle is absolutely amazing because now it's Justin Eminem trying to get a piece of the pie, but also another driver on the compact trail is Luka Lekcevic here. And
big lock up for Kveth. I remember Lujevic was involved in a spin as he was trying to pass Dallanone after his track rejoin going into turn 3, so he's definitely one on its charge, and a little bit of a redemption story right now as he's approaching this massive pack in the battle for 5th place.
Now it's you know, free for all, like I said, in this part of the field, because these drivers are really so close to each other and so evenly matched, and we are seeing some fantastic driving from all of them. I mean, we're seeing some crazy overtakes tonight. Oh, you see Eminem, bit of a scary moment. We have a driver running wide his Helm in this NTT data livery there, back onto the racing surface proper. Malvern going for a move on Eminem. Very tough to get a move with the Andretti hairpin. He goes for it regardless. Maybe a slight bit of contact. No, the car seemed to be okay. He will have a better run here.
There's a bit of a touch, but Malvern got the better exit, and he had the outside line, and Malvern going to get P7, but Niven, he's in the draft right now, and he is primed and ready to go to catch up to Malvern, or is he going to let the faster car tow him around? I think he's going to stick with that latter.
Now up to 7-12 spots gain still for Scott Malvern. Is still the biggest oh, Helm in the wall.
Helm in
Very
the wall.
hard.
Massive hit as... Well, that's 2 cars with the same aero damage, but that was a big hit coming out of that turn. That final corner is so tricky. Hits the brakes. Just car not turning as much as you want it.
Yeah, Malvern is still on the compact trail, and his next victim could be Shervin van der Sloot, as Luka Lekcevic is around in the at Moss corner. But let's focus on this battle first. Yeah.
The battle for 6, Van der Sloot, Malvern, and Nijmegen. 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. So they're going all around the track right now. Who's going to have the better line this lap, as we're already 1/4 of the way through this race, and it's getting insane as, oh, Malfred up the inside, Vandersloot letting him by. Vandersloot's going slow.
Yeah, it's almost like I didn't want to force the issue. Now this may open the door to Nieminen here, going for the pass. Into Moss corner once again. A bit wide. Oh, yeah.
Look at Vandersloot. Very tricky exit. He saved the car, and yes, see, Nieminen is going to take advantage of that, swing up onto the inside, and get P7.
I mean, the leader might have a 33-second lead over second place, but we're having a lot of fun, I would say, today. And the pit stops are still to happen, and we have this many drivers. I mean, it's very unfortunate because that trio in the front of the pack was going to, I think, provide for some fantastic showing. But now we have so many drivers out of position. And they are trying to make their way through the field. Dalle Donne now smelling a possible podium, I would say. But Rodrigo Azevedo is a tough driver to pass on the grass. What is he doing?
Pass from off the side, going into turn 3 and up onto the inside of turn 4 into the hairpin. Alessandro Dalle Donne with a impressive overtake for P4.
I mean,
if we get a replay at that, because I think both of us just lost our mind. Forcing the move, going trying to go up onto the inside, goes way off track, then around the outside. Wow. That's just one of those moves that just makes you say, wow.
Oh, I think Vandersloot hit the wall in the final corner. Here come Bennett on Kvef, and they are also trying to catch up on Vandersloot in front of them. So Bennett gets the move done there. Let's see what happened to our winner of Las Vegas, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, Sharon Vandersloot, he rolled the dice in Vegas, and it gave him a big old jackpot and probably one of the craziest finishes we've ever seen.
You already had damage there, sorry. We didn't clip the wall, but as you can see, you already had damage. So I'm working on something for the next broadcast, but I will only tell you what it is if I can make it work.
That's surprising. That's interesting, and now I'm interested, and I want you to tell me now, but I know that is only going to be told to me after the race. As the battle for third, Aaron Rufus and Alessandro Dalle Donne. I swear I'm going to get his name right at the end of this broadcast. Battling out for P3.
I mean, big props to Roofs because he's having a very nice race as Blocker gets the fastest lap of the race at 1 minute 0:00:06. Getting closer to...
Not as fast as qualifying lap.
We are about to go down the 1 minute mark in race as well. Roofs gets some good defending, a very good line through the Moss corner section of the racetrack, and is able... Also Thomas Ziegler, who probably is sporting some damage, we don't know, he's still holding on, but he's not that far away from these guys here. So I mean, as Ziegler goes in for his stop, so this will be the battle now for second place momentarily. Here comes Dalle Donne on the inside. No, thinks better about it.
Trying to sell him the dummy going to P4. He's going to try to sell another one right now, heading into turn 2. It's an odd place to try it, but we've seen him make a move around here already. So they're coming up to a small braking zone in turn 3 as they're approaching the long run up until the hairpin. We saw it around the outside. Crazy bonkers move by him already. We're going to see it again. Looked out the inside into the hairpin. Thought about it. Didn't want it. But he is primed and ready to go. As the savvy ninja, Aaron Rufus leads out the charging Alessandro Dalle Donne. And here he comes up around the outside and ready and primed to go. And he gets P2.
Another move around. He really likes that corner there on the outside, as Roofs says it's better to go in the pits, make the change. And now, of course, we also have to see Thomas Ziegler. His pit stop time was 17 seconds. Let's see the other pit stop times. You know, other drivers are getting stops into the 14-second region. Even drivers who had to change their front wing, like Kveth. So he might have had either some damage or he maybe overfueled the car. We will
Or maybe
see.
he was answering a text.
Or maybe it was answering. You know, it's quite. It's always
I'm
a possibility.
gonna raise up my hand. I've done it. I've done it. We've all done it. So we're halfway through this race.
You know, during a broadcast once I had... oh, Rodrigo Azevedo hard into the wall and damaging the front wing of his car. He still has to stop, so this is not the end of the world, but certainly not ideal, because now we will have to lose a lot of time on the track and some 5, 6, 7 extra seconds in the pit stop.
Look at Kveth. Fix his wing and around the outside of Vandersloot, and Sloot's going slow.
Yeah, I mean, he still has some damage. Or no, he fixed the front wing as well, as Nieminen is in. Yeah, he's, you know, he's not at his best today. Maybe he's not 100% comfortable. He doesn't want to destroy the tires. As our race leader goes into the pits. And I dare say he has quite a comfortable margin, does our leader Adam Blocker, trying to make it back-to-back victories, and of course on both the road and the oval side of things.
Yeah, as we're halfway through this race, and the race is starting to separate just a little bit in the strategy of pit stops and everything else. Alessandro Deladone has not got into the pits yet, and I'm expecting him to do this next lap, because Adam Blocker, when he was going to the pits, he was dealing with lap traffic, so he's going to try to gain as much time as he can. As Adam Blocker is right ahead of him. Azevedo into the wall in turn 2.
Just after his pit stop, and that is game over, unfortunately, for the Brazilian driver. Very talented. But let's see. Cold tires, maybe? He was in a fight there with, I think that was...
Oh! Oversteer.
I mean, we talked about it before the race, you know. We said that this was going to be a tough race for all these drivers. This is a track that is very simple on paper, but very, very tricky, especially in the IndyCar. It's a track that has got a lot of bumps. Those curbs are treacherous. The grass is slippery as the British one. You know, that I think it's because this used to be British territory for quite a while, you know. The old Dominion of Canada, as it was once called. Daledon finally in.
He might have gained some time on Blocker as there's a car off in turn 2. That is Barry Boas.
No, it's Ziegler. No, sorry, no, you are right. Ziegler is in the wall then. Oh, this is massive damage.
There were two cars in the wall. It was Ziegler and Barry. As Rodrigo Azevedo gives us a little bit of a sad face in chat. And Boas teleports into the pits.
Okay, so let's see both crashes, shall we?
Yes.
Here we go. This is the Ziegler crash. This is, of course, has podium implications because, you know, he was in the fight for the podium. He spun.
Oh.
And
he does hit the wing.
I
It was
see.
just a light tap.
Yeah, but I see some damage maybe on the left side pod. I don't know where that came from because it was hit on the right side.
At the start.
Early no, oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, you are right. And let's see Barry Bowes.
That took out. That took out Bennett.
Oh,
and,
yeah, it was hit on the right side there. You are absolutely right. Yeah, I thought it was hit on the left. And this is, of course, the crash of Barry Bowes. And... Oh.
Well, ends up on his roof. Does a nice barrel roll. Keeps on going. I'll give him a 10 for style. Maybe about a 7 on the landing.
So now Ziegler trying to hold on Kveth, that after doing the repairs has certainly got a pep in his step. He's really, really quick. Now going on the inside of the GoDaddy machine makes the move.
Yes.
Malvern goes for it as well. Oh man, slicing and dicing.
Slicing and dicing and fighting tooth and nail here in Mosport for the battle for P5. A little bit of lockout. Zeiger goes wide, and here goes Malvern up the inside. They're running down into turn 4 and into the hairpin. They're jostling for positions into the hairpin. Who's going to have the best of the late breakers? A little bit of a weird line as Zeiger holds off Malvern as they head into this long straight. Now, who's going to do their push to pass, and who is going to just use the draft to carry themselves down this straight? I think there's not going to be a move trying to make for Malvern, even though he's definitely primed to make one.
Yeah, now we go down the gears into 4th, maybe 3rd here for the final corner. Yes, Zigar is clipping slightly the grass there, but he's able to hold on his own. That side pod damage will damage him, no pun intended. And now on the inside, maybe of turn 2.
Oh, it's going to get dicey. There's a little bit of a tap. They keep going. Malvern inching by in turn 2 for P6.
I mean, that is what we like, Austin. Hard but fair racing, a little bit of elbows there. Shown by both drivers. Malvern with the better line, the better speed, and the car that is in better conditions is able to make the move. And now Thomas will have, of course, to contend with the car not being 100%, and more drivers are coming for him. One of them is Sherwin van der Sloot, who is about to join this party as well. We have one driver that is off strategy. Is Henry Bennett, and is, I think, pushing like crazy in order to get the most speed possible out of his lap times before heading for the pits once again, because he pitted very, very early on lap 5 as a result of that collision he had with Mark Asher. And here he comes.
Right now. Yeah, he pushed the he's driving the Maple Leafs off that car right now to get back into P2, and definitely to go into the pit lane, to quote probably the best quote by IndyCar spotter ever.
So this will promote at least Dalle Donne back into second. And this will be a very, very tasty fight should they come out of the pits relatively close to each other. Aaron Roofs is not going to stay in front of him. So Henry Bennett, I have to say, with some astonishing damage limitation there.
Well, it was just the location of that first crash, right at the pit lane. Didn't impact him that much, didn't have to tow. And Mark Usher, he's retired and he just stayed out. Bennett kept his teeth in. You know, accidents happen in IndyCar. He could get that car fully repaired. Damage wasn't that too big, and he is back out.
As we see Van der Sloot completing the pass on the wounded number 4 of Thomas Ziga there. As we are, you know, maybe if we have the time, I don't know if we have, but if we had, I would like to see again the crash that we had at the very beginning of the race between Asher and Bennett.
Do it.
I want to see the damage to both cars.
This is lap number 5. Bennett and Usher. Here is Usher. Usher looking up the inside as he clipped the... It was so weird because he clipped the wing, the curb.
Yeah.
And Bennett was just really spun around and lost just a small part of his wing.
Exactly, that is the big difference. Whilst poor Mark Asher, I mean, Mark Asher made what could have been the move of the race and he completed it. He was very unlucky there to hit the curb just at the wrong angle. But you are right. In the end, Bennett only had that front wing damage, with, you know, unfortunately, will cause him to do another stop, which he did right now. But you know, that is survivable damage. Again, in a race this short, certainly don't want to do extra pit stops. But it is what it is. As now, Bennett with a great comeback, and now up into second place. And we'll have to keep an eye on the lap times between himself and Dalle Donne and see. Of course, this lap won't count because Henry just came out of the pits. And we'll have to see if in these 12 laps that remain, more or less, how close they can be. And you know what? Well, we have the technology, so let's use it.
Alessandro Daladonde is the fastest car on track currently. Adam Blocker just did a 101.02, and Henry Bennett is just slightly slower by 1.8 tenths.
So let's see now this lap if but of course Henry needs to gain. He has got 10 seconds behind, so he needs to really have some help from Alessandro making a mistake. But I have to say that again, in terms of damage limitation, this is as good as it gets for Henry there. As Daledon at 100.6, here comes Henry on the start-finish line. Oh, Scott Malvern has got an issue. Oh, he retired.
And he's retired.
Oh,
so we're
wow.
going to get a replay of that because it must have been substantial damage for that.
So he first made a mistake here. No, we are already the hairpin.
I expect... Oh, okay. Normal exit. Does this have bigger implications? Yeah.
As we want to thank Sika Pup for signing up to subscribing to Apex Racing TV on YouTube. Hopefully you are enjoying the show. So this was one lap earlier. Let's see now. Oh, he goes around. He saves the car.
Drifting it.
Drifting it. Oh!
Oh, and in the wall.
Yeah. You know, when they are hot, those tires can be like jelly. If you push on the power to it. This is a pass for position, by the way. Even though these guys are one lap down. No, a couple of laps down. 4 of them, to be fair, to be precise, if I'm not mistaken. Burke just went past Jelm. So on that last lap, Bennett got half a second on Daredonne, but we both know that it's not going to be enough for... and also, let's see, while we are at it, because once again, with SDK Gaming software, you have the power to do whatever you want. And you can find more on sdkgaming.co.uk. You can see also live while you race on the overlay, while you are in the car, the rating you are going to gain or lose from this race. And look at that. A couple of drivers are going to be very happy from today. Aaron Roofs, I think, is going to be the happiest. Mark Asher is going to take a bit of a hit on his license because that's going to be a big, big loss for him.
He has 6,200
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. Right. I mean, if I had to lose there, that I would go negative probably. But you can deal with it. I mean, if you have 6,000 rating, and yeah. So, I mean, the race is almost over. You all know the driver names, so let's go back to this, which is, I think, much more cleaner. Oh no, Aaron! What a jinx!
Oh, you!
And he plows and he's stuck into the tire wall. Oh, that is not going to be... I mean, how can you get the car that... Oh, man, I'm so sorry for him.
Oh, you were just saying Rufus is going to be very happy. That's on you.
That is on me, unfortunately. And you know, he was so unlucky. The way the car basically...
oh, he hit a bump.
Boom.
Hit a bump and his car just plows in there and it's just pitchforked in there.
I have never seen anything like this in a racing. I mean, I've seen a car get stuck on the tire, on one of the small tire piles at the final corner in Sonoma a few years ago in BSRTC competition. It was, by the way, our boss Alex Simpson that went with the rear of his car up on one of those and couldn't move. So, but that was
in our contract to not talk about this incident publicly.
I mean, in one of the first races I did for Apex, you know, Alex was in the lead in BSRTC at Gilles Villeneuve and crashed in the first corner. So, all on his own, might I add. And I, you know, made it public how weird of a mistake it was, and I haven't been fired. So, almost 2 years after that incident. And I was also commentating on that race in Sonoma. So, hopefully, you know, as our friend Savvy Ninja, of course, Aaron Roofs, with a message that sadly we cannot report because there are minors watching and they could be, you know, the parents might be very, very angry.
Savvy, you can blame Marker for that one. That's all his fault.
Daledonne goes for a bit of rallycross because why not? As Bennett gets the fastest sector 1.
It's very easy to go off track here. Yep, bit of braking zone mischief and a little bit of wide track personalities, but he gets back on track, gets that car pointed back up, and what a drive he's had. Turn 2, opening laps, way off track, and he's been off track more than anyone else today, I believe.
You know now Bennett 3.5 seconds thanks to this mistake from Daledonne. Gained a bit in this last lap thanks to that mistake. So this is not over just yet. Daledonne now knows another mistake and he is, you know, in the clutches of Bennett or maybe even overtaken by Bennett. So needs to be careful. Let's see the gaps in real time while we are at it. You can see 3 drivers on the lead lap. This has been a common theme on road courses. It seems like these guys here at the top of the table are on a class of their own, but that is not by any means a guarantee to get to the podium or to get some good points, because you can see...
Well, it's Hughes leading it that's making me go, wow, Adam Blocker. Usually you hear that name and be like, oh, Indy 500 specialist, oval specialist. Every oval I've seen him, he's probably won it. And Adam Blocker just setting in time after time after time.
Oh, look at Bennett. Sorry to interrupt you. 59.8, the fastest lap of the race. 2 seconds between the pair of Daledonne and Bennett now. This is getting very, very tasty potentially. And could be a fantastic fight with just a few laps left. Let's bring it back again, 1.2 seconds, and now if we jump on board with the green machine of Bennett.
What's happened to Sandro?
I think he's destroyed his tires or lost concentration, or knowing him, he might be texting with a girl while he's driving.
You know, he's Italian. I know he's driving underneath the Thai flag. He could do that.
Another lap in the books. Daledonne loses 1 second again.
He's brought up the battle box. That's how close he is right now. Bennett might try to retake P2 on this lap.
Also, Daledonne, you know, Bennett has stopped, 5 laps later, so certainly also fresher tires, maybe a bit shorter on fuel is Alessandro with his stop, even though he stopped last of the guys on the regular strategy, so to speak. So I don't think it's a fuel problem, maybe it's a tire problem. Also, you know, Henry Bennett is a fantastic driver, let's not forget that. These are 2 amazing drivers, and I think Bennett is ready to pounce and get back into second place in what has been an astonishing comeback. Another purple first sector for Henry.
Yeah, with 3 laps to go, Bennett is definitely primed in this battle for second to get the silver instead of the bronze here at Mosport.
Bennett getting closer and closer, as we can see from this shot into Moss. Hopefully they don't do anything silly, because I know the pride is very, even though this is not first place, this has been an amazing comeback story for both of them, and they want to certainly keep that second place in their pocket. I mean, Daledonne wants it to keep in his pocket. Bennett wants to get it. On the outside is Bennett. Daledonne closes the door.
I think he's getting a little bit of flashbacks to lap 5 right now. In that same corner, he could have had him, but he's not letting it happen as they go 2 to go here at Mosport for the battle for second, as Blocker's going to make it very, very Easy.
I think it's 3 to go.
Well, now it's 2 to go.
Now it's 2 to go, yeah. I mean, he almost lapped the entire field. And if these two guys have a bit of a problem, let's say, he's going to lap the entire field. So,
Yeah, and Blocker's last lap was a 59.92, and these guys are running 101s.
needs to get a good run here, Bennett, on the Andretti straight, and I think he has a good run. Let's see.
He's got a great run. He is primed. Swings for the outside move. They're wheel to wheel, nose to nose, going to the right-hander. Bennett takes Daladone for P2.
Beautiful pass for Henry Bennett. And he's back into second place after a long and hard road. I mean, this has to be one of the best drives of the season from both of these drivers in this race. Amazing comebacks for different reasons. Sarena Blanca! White flag in the air for Adam Blocker, but Bennett and Daladone have two laps to go, basically. So that's how big the gap has been. But Adam Blocker, I mean, let's give him some camera time, because this has been an astonishing drive. He's got a little bit of help from Bennett and Asher behind him, but that doesn't take it away. You have to drive the car, you have to bring it home. This track is treacherous. He had his problems, because he was almost taken out by a lapped car, but he kept his cool. Yeah, multiple times, you are absolutely right. He kept his cool, and he's about to make it 2 out of 2 back-to-back on the oval at Milwaukee and on the road here at Mosport.
Pretty much setting himself up for a great victory celebration, and then a great week next week as around the final corner and taking the win for 2 weeks in a row, Adam Blocker.
Fastest lap of the race to boot in the final lap for Adam, 59.4, as Jean goes wide there just in front of the dueling duo, no pun intended, of Bennett and Daledonne. Bennett seems to be poised to bring home his car in second place, matching his car number. As other drivers are coming home, you can see on the left side of your screen, Taike Veth is home in the end, 4th place, 11 spots gained, the biggest mover of the race, and he certainly will get a nice boost after this race. Good confidence. I mean, he's had an up and down race, but in the end you can finish 4th. It's good. Van der Sloot, despite having some slow moments, will finish 5th. Bennett and Daledonne 2nd and 3rd. What a race these two guys gave us. Fantastic comebacks for both of them, and fantastic battle, as we have a parking lot here in turn 1, and the race is over like this. Austin, we were robbed of a fantastic fight for the lead, but boy oh boy did we have fun tonight.
We got a fantastic fight for second, and I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining as well. No, absolutely. It was a fantastic race. And it is time, with everyone home safe and sound, to go through the race results for tonight.
Taking the win.
No.
These are not the race results.
Absolutely not. Just a second. And these should be the race results from tonight.
Taking the win today by, well, according to our timing sheets, lapping the entire field, Adam Blocker, followed up by Henry Bennett, Alessandro Daledonne, both 2nd and 3rd. They're going to have a massive smile on their face. Probably one of the best recovery drives we've seen to date. Followed up by Ty Gaveth, Sherwin Vandersloot, Thomas Zeiger, UC Nyman, Luka Lejevic, Richard Holt, Shane Burke, Nick Atornia, Oscar Hines, Aaron Rufus, Scott Malvern, Rodrigo Azevedo, Barry Boas, Mark Usher, and Paul Morgan in P18. They're followed up with P9. Yeah, there's the second page. They're followed up by Joseph Schroeder, Alexander Hammonds, Brian Carey, and James McLean, who couldn't do, those back three couldn't do the start, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe James crashed at the very start and couldn't get a qualifying lap in.
Yeah, I don't know about Brian started from the pits, but and he basically managed to put his car in the second row, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a very short race. We are waiting for drivers if they want to come in for an interview. They can. The link is in the chat. And let's talk about this because it has been a beautiful round. And I think Austin. We can now say, if the people don't know, what is coming up next in this championship.
Well, after today, we're going back home to Indiana for our own, not the Indianapolis 500, but it's about 100 laps around the Indianapolis Oval. So it's going to give us still a big shock and a big smile on the face to see Indianapolis 250 presented by Apex Racing TV. 2 days before the Open Wheels 500. So expect a packed house for that race and a absolute banger of a race up at front. Most of the Open Wheels 500 guys are oval aficionados and iRacing IndyCar aficionados. I was reading I'm one of the media for the event, and I'm reading the entry list. Half of those names I have seen on these broadcasts so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Some big names are going to be there. I know you're going to be the master of ceremonies for that race, if I am not mistaken.
I was the master of ceremonies for the press conference. I'm not sure about the race, but things are still in the talks for that.
Okay, may I jump the gun a bit on that? So far, disappointingly, no drivers are coming
Private.
for interviews, but we could tell you what's coming up next on Apex Racing TV. Don't forget that on Saturday at this same time slot, if I'm not mistaken, we are going to have the official Formula 3.5 championship, and that is going to be of course live on Apex Racing TV, and then we are going to have the on Sunday the Aussie Mixed and Fixed series. Oh, sorry, I am having a chat behind the scenes. Sorry, back live to this, and sorry, I'm not laughing like a crazy man, but we have Adam Blocker for an interview. Austin, take
Yeah,
it away.
Adam Blocker, 2 wins in a row. Uh, and a dominating win. According to our time histories, lapped everybody on the field. Physically, no, you didn't. But what a drive.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been a close race between me, Mark, and Henry, but obviously Mark spun on the curb and collected Henry. So and Henry did a great job to fight through the field to get back where he was. But yeah, that sort of made it easy for me after that.
Yeah, it's a second win in a row. And are you primed and ready to go 3 in a row next, especially with next week coming up?
Yeah, next week obviously the main focus is to use the Indy Road races to prepare for the Open Wheels 500 that's coming up in the community. So definitely looking forward to getting some practice and hopefully running in some pretty big fields. There should be a pretty good turnout next week for Indianapolis. You know, that normally brings a lot of people in and of itself, and then people preparing for the event will bring even more participation. So.
Yeah, the Apex Racing 250, as we're calling it right now, is definitely going to bring a lot of people in there in preparation, especially for Sunday's event. So, well, congrats on another win, and good luck to you for next week, and especially in the open wheels race.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys for calling the race, and just thanks for everybody for participating. And it was a pretty fun race. So.
All right, thank you. You stay awesome. Next, he finished second, but it feels like a win for him. He had probably the best recovery drive I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Bennett.
Thanks, yeah. Yeah, it was a fun drive back through the field. It's just unfortunate that the battle between me, Mark, and Adam couldn't last longer. I think it would have been close between us three.
Yeah, you three were in your pod of very own. Then, unfortunately, a curb spelt disaster for you and Mark. And well, it robbed us of a great battle, but it gave us a great storyline to follow.
Yeah, happy to get back to P2. I think I was helped a bit by attrition. Yeah, but it was just nice to run laps at this circuit. It's a great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you and I had the exact same reaction when we saw this track. Just a big giddy smile formed on our faces.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I love this track in any car, but in the IndyCar, it's an absolute blast. Like one of the best combinations on the circuit.
All right. You were closing it in the final few laps on Alessandro, who also is having a recovery drive of his own, but in a different form. He didn't have a more spectacular crash as you did. He's had spectacular off tracks. You were closing in on him about 1 second, 3 seconds per lap, and then you just kind of sat behind him. Were you planning on going for a later move throughout the race, or were you just making sure?
I saw there was quite a few laps left, and there's a big gap behind us, so there's no rush to get by. Alessandro he's a wily racer, so he's not going to make it easy for you to get by, even if you got a slight pace advantage. So just bided my time until I got a good run out of Moss down the main straight, and yeah, made it least risky pass. I think I could do.
All right. Next week, we are going to be at Indianapolis for the Apex Racing 250. I know the Open Wheels 500 is going to be on Sunday. You're probably going to be there, I guess.
I'll be there. Yeah. No.
All right. Any predictions for that race?
Power slide 1, 2, 3.
All right. Well, we had first and second. There's an Italian in third, so I'm going to let Marco introduce y'all to him because I can't say his name right.
Yeah, we're going to have an interview with a driver that I've just been told that was my reason for the laughs earlier. Didn't even know that this was the broadcast race. I have no words, Alessandro. Welcome to the booth.
What I have to say? Things happen so randomly.
Yeah, I mean, what about the racing? Because we were talking about the first corner that was, and the second
I was
corner
too busy
especially.
singing Taylor Swift.
we were speculating about your other activities while driving, but second corner you spin.
I had no idea the car was so twitchy on cold tires.
And you went out there again, almost clipping the wall, but then after that you were almost mistake free and had a nice drive through the field. What more important, what about that pass that you made at Moss corner, putting half of the car in the grass on Rodrigo?
Where? I don't recall to have done such a move, but I'm not surprised. So, the standard racing of myself, always showing for the people who watch these streams.
Yeah, especially since you didn't know it was a stream, So that doesn't hold up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. One more question for you. How has it been to get back in the car after being away from home for 6-7 months, getting back into such a competitive field?
Seems like a rocket ship in comparing to any other car on the server. I think it's a bit too fast. I don't think Mosport can be so fast with an IndyCar, but on a racing, I had a ton of fun anyway, even if, in my opinion, it's a bit too fast, too much grip. But I never been an IndyCar driver, so I may be mistaken.
Well, Alessandro, thank you very much. Fantastic recovery drive. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Not actually. Thank you for watching this race and for broadcasting. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro, and congratulations once again. So this was our podium, Austin. Final considerations before we say goodnight.
Well, I must say, after this incredible race, I am... Can it be next week already? Can it just be next week? It's like, thank you, everybody, for this great race. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Alessandro. insert last name here. How for a great race and joining us in the interview room. And thank you everybody for watching this great series. We can't really do this without y'all's support, and it's gonna be fun. Thank you, Marco, for bringing us the broadcast and all the broadcast graphics. I'm Austin, and I hope y'all have a great night.